Wait, what do you mean there's a new Darktide update? New weapons were added. The Psychic Quelling changes got reverted and they got some buffs on top of that. There's new heavy stabbers, force swords, Brunt Clubs, even new shotgun types. And one of them is a slug variant that requires precision aiming and has amazing breakpoints. There's new mission modifiers, box burster sound effects, they even moved the armory so that it's closer to Hadron. Oh, I think I'm in heaven. This video is gonna be a little side project of mine. I'm trying to silently work on that Ogryn shield guide that I promised you guys a while back in one of those polls, but I just couldn't resist making a video about my first impressions of the newly added weapons that we got in the Tools of War update. There's plenty to unpack here, 10 different weapons in total. I'm gonna go over each of them in as much detail as I can, giving you my personal opinion on how good I think they are and sharing which builds they best fit into. Let me underline this, these are just my first impressions. I don't want to come off as overly negative when it comes to some of these weapons, as I haven't tested most of them out with top tier blessings and my opinion on them might change after a few days of posting this video. So please, don't treat anything I say here as if it's the written law, these are just my opinions. If you find that a certain weapon is better than I stated in this video, leave a comment down below and share your own conclusion with us so that we can all learn together. Alright? Alright. One last thing, all of the clips that I'm showing here were recorded on Damnation. Also, this video has timestamps present for each weapon, so if you're only interested in one particular new addition, feel free to skip to it. I'm gonna start off with the new heavy stabbers, as I think that one of them in particular is the most impactful weapon that has been added in this update. I have to say that I feel like the old Mark V Stubber is one of the worst weapons in the game that's outclassed by any other choice in the Ogryn's arsenal, and it's a shame because I really wanted to like it. Fortunately though, its new siblings are much more useful, and one of them fills a hole in the Skullbreaker's arsenal that has been keeping him down this entire time, that being the Gorgonum Mark IV. This is an even heavier version of the heavy stabber that lets you both fight enemy shooters surprisingly well and melt any elite shot of a crusher in seconds. This is something that the Skullbreaker was always missing from his arsenal. The poor Ogryns never really had anything in their disposal that helped them fight enemy shooters reliably. I guess the Rumble is kind of okay at getting them out of cover, but unless you have a veteran, you're gonna be really ammo hungry with it. And if there's a veteran on your team, then they can most likely take care of shooters just by virtue of existing. Unless they're using a bolt gun or something. Anyway, I'm drifting away from the stabber. It's easily my favorite new addition to the game, and it makes me very excited to see a new ranged subclass for Ogryns in the future. Unfortunately, it doesn't do any reliable damage to Carapace armor, so I'd recommend pairing it with a melee weapon that can help you deal with crushers, like the Mark I Brunt Club, the Mark I Power Maul, or the Mark III Shovel, which I've been using it the most with. Same goes for the Mark VII Stubber, although it doesn't feel as good as the other option. This is your high rate of fire, low damage type of Stubber, and it's really good at shredding hordes, but not much else really. It might have been my role with no upgrades, but I felt like this weapon struggled really badly against any form of elite or special. It really feels like a side grade to the Ripper guns more than anything, with more range and better ammo efficiency but less damage per second. I don't know, maybe having better blessings helps it out a bit? I certainly hope so, because this weapon is really fun to use. I love the sound that it makes. The new Brunt Clubs are not something that I'm really that interested in. I used the Mark I Brunt Club for its single target damage a lot before this update, and I can't see myself replacing it with either one of these newly added bonking sticks. It seems like they focus a lot more on clearing hordes rather than smacking elites, which I'm fine with, but they're just not my cup of tea. If I want to dedicate my melee weapon for clearing hordes as an Ogryn, then I'll just stick to the cleavers. Moving on from the Ogryn's arsenal, let's talk about the new shotguns. Fun fact, I started using the old Lawbringer Mk VI Shotgun on my veteran about a week before this update released, and to this day I'm absolutely in love with that thing. No, you don't. I love this weapon! Right, one more gunner. No, that's a sniper, I think. Yep, dead. As such, I can compare our new options to the older variant of the weapon. We'll start with the Slug Shotgun, the Agripinaa Mk VII. This is the type of shotgun that I've been hyping myself up for pretty much since the game came out. Its regular shots deal the lowest amount of damage out of all the shotgun variants, but they also have the fastest firing speed. As long as you hit weak spots, you should be doing relatively fine, even at longer ranges as its spread is very tight. Hitting your special attack button loads a single slug to the shotgun's tube that has lasgun type accuracy and is able to one-shot scab gunners with a face stab up to about 35 meters. The slugs can also pierce carapace armor, which is pretty nice, but they don't do that much damage to crushes. It's also still better to shoot molars in the body rather than the head. It's a very good idea to hold that slug loaded in the tube at all times, so make sure to load it each time before you enter combat. If you're facing a tankier enemy that can withstand the slug, like a Reaper for example, don't bother loading another one. Just shoot it and then proceed to shower the target with backshot at head level. While I want to use it on the veteran, I think that it's very much outclassed by the Mk VI Lawbringer on that class. This may come as a surprise to many of you, but it just relies on the special attack way too much for my liking. The fact that you have to load it after every single shot gimps it a lot when facing more than one enemy at a time. You can still get a lot of value out of it, but it doesn't compare to how quickly you can clear a room of elites with the Lawbringer. I mean, look at this, I just keep the streak going in this clip. I might have stolen that bulwark kill, but then the Reaper goes down, and then I carefully pick this gunner off with some well-aimed shots, and his body right afterwards, and then this guy who decided to climb this ledge, I don't fucking know why, and then this other gunner, and I free-shot a Reaper, and I don't think I need to elaborate any further as to why I think the old shotgun is better for the sharpshooter. Now imagine that situation, but I have to reload the slug every time I switch targets. Even with the primary fire, it would take more shots to kill the Reapers, which would likely cause me to lose volley fire, so I still think that the Lawbringer outclasses the Agripinaa. It's just an unfortunate, so he's not even maining Organ.
63 specials.
Yeah, easy.
Hell.
This shotgun's great! That being said, veterans are not the only class that can use it. This shotgun works really well as a zealot weapon. It feels like sort of a mix between the Lawbringer and the revolver. I value it most for its stagger. That slug can throw most enemies on the floor immediately, letting you land a 1-2 punch of sorts in combination with your melee. It's also a very ammo efficient sniper that lets you tap high value targets before you decide to charge in and finish the job up close. I find that it works best in combination with a combat axe that has brutal momentum on it. If you like using the old shotty or the revolver as a zealot, then give it a try. Who knows, you might like it. As for the flame shotgun, I don't see the point of using it over the other two choices. The damage over time that its special shells do is really impressive and it helps it out a lot with ammo efficiency, but it feels very situational. If you have a veteran on the team that's even semi-good, he's gonna pick off all the targets you set ablaze before the damage over time effect even matters. And the primary fire isn't much better. Even though it has the highest base damage out of all the shotguns, the spread, low ammo count and the slow rate of fire really hurt it in the long run. The one saving grace of this weapon is the horde killing potential of the fire shots. The damage it can do to hordes is nothing to scoff at, but it's only really applicable in tight corridors where you could just use a flamer, a braced autogun, or even an auto pistol instead without sacrificing the versatility of these weapons. The time to kill on the Mk IX Shotgun is really lacking in my opinion. Maybe I'm just using it wrong, but I really don't see why people are so hyped about it. For now, I don't see myself using it much, but I might change my mind about it once I get some better upgrades for it. There's also a new power sword. I don't care. Next. The Deimos Mk IV is a very interesting addition to the Cycle's arsenal, as it effectively replaces— Alright, fine, I'll talk about the new power sword. Look, I know that this is gonna trigger some of you, but I hate using the power sword. I know that it shreds hordes in seconds or something, but I find it really unfun to use with how clunky it feels to wield. I'm much more of an axe guy, both combat and tactical when it comes to the veteran. With that said, the new Mk VI power sword is the same weapon as its predecessor, just with slightly different attack patterns. It actually has a strike down attack at the end of its light combo, but you can't get to it without losing your charge in the process. There's no way to skip to the last light attack, doing heavy attacks just brings you back to the first light attack again, and without the charge it does pretty much the same amount of damage as the first two light attacks with the charge. Why does this thing exist? If you're a fan of the Mk III power sword, keep using it. the new variant is nothing to be hyped about. Now I can actually talk about the Force Swords. I'll start by saying that I was never really a fan of the Obscurus Mark II. I hate the weird attack patterns, I hate its lack of damage against hordes, and I hate that the only real single target damage that it has makes you consume peril, while the Chainsword could do pretty much the same thing for you without costing anything and being better at horde clear. The Chainsword isn't amazing at clearing hordes, but still. The only real use that I saw for the old Force Sword was the Deflector Blessing, which felt like too small of a boon considering how much you were sacrificing in comparison to the Axis or the dueling swords. And even then, I could avoid damage from enemy shoulders fairly well without it. I guess the point of using the Force Sword was a bit obscured to me. But the two new marks of the Force Sword are a completely different story. Let's start with the Deimos Mark IV, aka the single target stabby stab sword. I'm glad to say that I really like it, and I'm definitely gonna try to get a better roll on it when it comes to the perks and blessings. With an almost perfect damage, first target and finesse roll, I can one-shot scab bruisers with the first light attack to the face without any warp charges, and I can one-shot drag bruisers in the same way with 2 warp charges in the bank. The first light attack comes out almost immediately, is really easy to aim for headshots with, and you can block cancel to reset it incredibly easily. This lets you quickly poke any trash enemy that's preventing you from using your staff and get back to work. Furthermore, if you follow it up with a heavy attack, you get a devastating combo of 2 precise stabs that kills shotgunners, flamers and trappers without having to use peril and without getting stuck in an animation. That's a really good start. But if you have the peril to spend, and if you have enough space, the special attack will let you deal massive damage to flak armor, as well as do big chunks of damage against mutants and crushers. With my stat roll, I can actually 2-shot mutants with charged up body shots as long as at least one of them is a heavy attack. The single target damage on this weapon is seriously impressive, but it absolutely sucks against hordes. For this reason, I can only see myself using it with the Purgatus staff, maybe Trauma if I'm playing with friends. Picking anything else in your ranged slot is gonna leave you seriously vulnerable to hordes, so watch yourself, lest you become food for the poxwalkers. If you want to use a Force Sword alongside a gun though, or if you want some more horde clear out of your melee, the Illisi Mark V will be a much better option for you. I've heard people say that this weapon is like the Psyker's version of a power sword, and while I see where these people are coming from, I think that it's actually a way more balanced version of it. Not only does it require peril to use the special attack, it also loses its charge upon hitting quite literally anything, and it doesn't have access to anything resembling the Power Cycler Blessing. I find it much more fun to use though because of its infinite dodge count and the reliance on hitting weak spots. Having access to Deflector and the crowd control coming from its push attack are also nice bonuses. I think that it's a very good addition to the Psyker's kit, and I can see myself using it a lot in combination with the auto pistol. These two pair really well together, as the Mark V Force Sword struggles quite a bit against maniacs, which the auto pistol shreds, and as with most gun cycle builds, it's best to pair the auto pistol with a melee weapon capable of wiping hordes out, which the Illisi Mark V is pretty good at. I'm just not sure if it's better than the Mark II Tactical Axe yet, but I guess both of them bring different advantages to the table, so picking one over the other is mostly gonna come down to preference. Lastly, the new Thunder Hammer. I have to admit, I haven't swore this much while using a weapon in this game in a long time. God, this thing is fucking shit. Oh my god, and I lost Holy Revenant. God, I hate this piece of shit Thunder Hammer so much. My god. Okay, now do the fucking 2-hit combo before I charge in, and I don't kill him. Oh, and now I'm puked on because I spent too much time killing the Reaper, and I'm gonna get shot to death. Yep, stunned out of the fucking combo. Oh my god, this is so awful. Yeah, I'm down.
Dude, chill.
I'm done. I don't wanna use this weapon again. I was never really a fan of the old Thunder Hammer because of how punishing it was, but this variant feels so much worse to me. I have to admit that the horde clear on it is pretty decent, especially with how good the push attack into heavy combo is at cleaving through hordes, but zealots have better options for that role, and to start doing single target damage you need to go through a lengthy combination of attacks which you can easily get stunned out of. And even then the damage is not that great. The gimmick of this weapon is that you can activate the special attack in the middle of your combo for a sort of a finisher move. While this looks cool, it does such little damage and it's so impractical in actual gameplay. You're basically forced to run Die Raft Be Swift instead of Holy Revenant to get good use out of it, and I feel like there are better options to make that sacrifice for as a zealot. All of this might change with some good blessings unlocked on it, but I don't think I'll be using the Ironhelm anytime soon. And that's it. That's all of the newly added weapons. Hope I didn't trigger too many of you with what I had to say. Let me know which of these you're the most interested in down in the comments and make sure to share your playstyle with them. I'll catch you guys next time when we finally get to talk about how to stop standing in a corner as a shield Ogryn and actually start playing the game. Like, what the hell is your problem? Please help us with the horde, I'm begging you. Oh, so we got one of those Ogryns.